Hello and welcome back to Corgi Town, USA. I am Candy. In my lap is Chuckles, our spokescorg. We also have in the studio Mortimer Barnabas, Tito Bandito, and our little senior lady Booger. The entire Corgi committee is here. If you're new here, hi, welcome. We are glad to have you. We hope that you enjoy this episode. It's a super special one. We are now in our 6th season. If you haven't listened before, we have over 130 episodes preceding this one, all about health and wellness, traveling with your pet. We're here to support parents, pet parents, corgi centric, but really dog and cat mommy, doggy and daddies. Where you travel, where to get your corgi. If you do want a corgi, you don't have one, is very, very important. We try to support our rescues. We've done quite a few rescue stories, and we have some friends in rescue that we've had on the show. It's very important where you get your corgi, what questions to ask, what you should be prepared for. That helps us keep them out of shelters and rescue, and then also what to know to adopt. So the main objective of our show is to support our beloved breed, but also be here as a source of information for pet parents, corgi parents. We're always here for you, always happy to answer any questions. I'm Candy. I'm a dog trainer. I've had 9 corgis over 20 years. My first corgi, nobody knew what he was. They would always ask about the breed. Fast forward to a few years, I have Chuckles and the rest of the corgi committee. And if you have a corgi, you know all about the quote unquote paparazzi. They're very popular in public, and everywhere you go, everyone wants to take a picture and pet your corgi. And we're glad to share the love of the breed with them. But when they become popular, that comes with certain problems, as you know, overbreeding, poor breeding, etc. So we're just here to be a source of information for you. Thank you so much for listening. We also have a creator series where we bring on different creators that write, make art, all about dogs, corgis, things like that. So we're happy to be part of this community. It is our why, and thank you so much for listening. So on with today's show, we have Jess with LittleStumpsRacing going to tell us all about some corgi races. Jess, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited to have you. Just tickled to death over here. But this is, so you have your corgi Ziggy.
Yes, yeah. Corgi, Ziggy is mine. She just turned 5, and she
Oh,
has been keeping us on our toes, giving us tons of adventures in life.
yeah. Happy birthday, Ziggy.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about how you got started. Tell us about Little Stumps Racing. Just kind of how you came to be here.
Yeah, when we got Ziggy in 2020, really wanted to get looped into the Corgi community. Definitely knew that it was there. I found Kelly and Dan over at Corgi Beach Day, started helping them at their events, and the rest is history. I've been working with them, and they've really just given me opportunities to be part of that community. And that's what really brought us to Corgi Racing in 2021. They invited us to the Chargers Corgi race.
Hmm.
And in that atmosphere, you just could see how the fans, the corgi handlers, the staff really leaning into this event. Outside of my corgi world, I work in sports and entertainment. So this just was all the pieces coming together, seeing how my sports world could combine with my corgi world and really create these fun fan experience entertainment across multiple sports and leagues. And that's what ultimately led us to Little Stumps Racing coming to life in 2024 when we officially created the company.
I love that. That's so fun, and that's a pretty quick trajectory. I mean, 3 short years for like entrepreneurship.
Yeah, after 2021, 2022, we did the 49ers and the Cleveland Browns. And then 2023, we did a handful more, and then really leaning into it because it just was sparking. I mean, corgi racing across events isn't new. It's been around for many years. I would say the NFL is definitely launched with over more than half the teams in the league have a corgi race now. We do 9 of them. But there are, I believe, 5 or 6 others out there that work with local corgi groups and their internal staffs. And then it's also expanded beyond football. You see it in college athletics, in basketball, football, professional soccer. In a couple weeks, we're going to do our first indoor men's lacrosse game. So
Oh,
really thinking that corgi, and of course you have the staple events like Corgi Nationals that happens twice a year, and
mhm.
then you have like Corgi World Championships out in Seattle. Minnesota does one at their Canterbury Park. So there's corgi races, almost kind of a circuit around the US and internationally. It's fun to see.
Yeah, that makes my little corgi heart smile. I love that they can bring so much joy to these different events where we weren't typically allowed in a football game before, but now we're part of the halftime show, right?
Yeah, and it really is an event none like any other. And when we're coming on site or planning with the staff, it's almost the event that they're looking forward to the entire year. Everyone around the staff leans in, they get excited, they print out photos of the racers and put the pictures around the office. Everyone's kind of doing their internal bets on who's going to win. And then the fans just love it. You
Yeah.
just get so much good feedback of it being one of their favorite events and one that they look forward to year after year, which then turns these races into annual events, which is great. We love to bring corgi races back year after year.
Heck yes. Yeah, and it's good for them to run. Get that energy out, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love it. And so now that we've been on this very quick trajectory, it sounds like you had a lot of your growth in this past year in 2024.
Yeah, 2024 we did 11 total races, and
Wow.
yes, 8
You're
of those
busy.
yeah, 8 of those were NFL teams. We did a college football game, a college basketball game, and a professional women's soccer game. And it was a busy year. October was definitely our busiest. We had 5 NFL games in one.
Wow.
And our team is very small. It was just myself, but this year we've brought on 3 additional members, so we're now a team of 4. And we can't be at all places at once. You know, there were a couple weekends where we had races on the same day, and
Wow.
so our time was kind of split up. We even had an NFL race once that was on Sunday night, and then one that was Monday night. So we had like back-to-back races. So
Wow.
2024 was a year of expansion and really drives us into big goals for 2025. And again, like, these teams want to bring this event back because it is such a success for them, for their fans, for their staff, and it's just a fun event that everyone can't help but smile and have a good time.
Yeah, and congratulations on the growth. That's wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, and so I have a quick question sort of off the cuff. When you as you're growing and you're doing these games, how did you have to reach out? Like, did you have to do some lead gen on this, or did they start coming to you from word of mouth and media?
Yeah, well, my world outside of corgis is sports and entertainment,
There's
so
a world outside of corgis?
I know, yeah, it is there is one that exists for me, even though I wish it could all be corgis all the time.
Right.
So I really leaned into my connections in my professional world on the sports side, and, networking is a powerful thing, and so I just gradually got to meet individuals in the entertainment space for these teams and sports, and from that point, a lot of it too was word of mouth. Someone wants to have that event at their venue or their sport, and so then they reach out to that team and ask who they're working with, and that really has credited a lot. I credit that a lot to the growth of Little Stumps with word of mouth of people seeing corgi races and wanting them themselves.
Yeah, I love that. And so so a lot of it is this you didn't know you were leading up to this with all that front end work in your other realm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like you said, all the pieces came together.
It did. And the community itself too is, as we all know, the corgi world is a special place, and you create friendships and best friends, and you learn and meet incredible people. Just in the year 2024, we had over 100 racers throughout our different events, and we launched our social media platforms. We're launching our website, so we're trying to get all of that ramped up, and so it's coming soon. But it gives a space for these racers to, obviously, the corgis, but also the handlers, a space of connection, and they've all been through like a shared experience, and every experience is
Camaraderie.
different. Yeah, and every experience is different, so they have fun kind of talking back and forth of what was different for them and what they learned, and people start giving each other tips and tricks and advice of how to have a successful race day. And but I always tell people, expect the unexpected. We're just here. Our main goal is just to have fun, connection, and experience, not just for ourselves, but for the fans that we're also entertaining, and not get too serious and hung up into the competition of it, even though everyone loves to be competitive, but we're there to have fun.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So cute. So did you have you had some spotlights, like some that you kind of like to, I guess, I don't want to say repeat offenders.
Oh, yeah. No,
Favorite racers.
again, meeting some incredible people, and some shout outs is we've had back-to-back and even three-peat champions. So our Detroit Lions champion, Helen, she's won back-to-back. We've had Aries win back-to-back with the Buffalo Bills. And then Tony he's a three-peat champion with the 49ers. So once you have these kind of stars on these teams, like these fans remember these corgis year after year. And so
Yeah.
they're rooting for them to get that back-to-back three-peat championship. So that's a fun thing. We have an incredible, fun little story. A corgi owner named Richard. He has three corgis: Athena, Aries, and Tails, and all three of them have raced in different events. So the Bills, Giants, and the Eagles, and all three of them have won their racing event. So incredible story. We've got a corgi named Penny, who did our Denver Broncos, and her owner is the weatherman in Denver. And so
Oh
he
yeah,
had
that
his
guy. We've seen his
yeah,
content. Love it.
yes, he went
Yeah.
viral, and Penny is occasionally makes kind of a pop-up on the news station with him.
Yeah.
So he had his team on the field and kind of recording his experience, and that was fun. Um, and obviously Tony, we have for the 49ers race, him and his brother, they're just a dynamic duo in the corgi racing world, even outside of NFL racing, like Corgi Nationals, they're champions all over the place. So but then, there's just endless stories like that with our racers. And it's just so fun year after year meeting new racers, new corgi owners, new connections, and growing the Little Stumps community.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. And I love your content. I love the races and I love seeing the recaps and all the excitement that like you're there, right? You get to feel it. Like, there's so much
Yeah.
like you said, the friendly competition. It's that rife anticipation, right?
Yeah, content is huge for us. Again, what I do specifically outside of my corgi love passion is social and digital media and marketing. So my skills are very transferable into this space. So I definitely lean into content, creating recaps, fun little videos. We have our Ziggy cam. So my corgi Ziggy will put on a 360 camera harness on her back and have her run down the field, and that content is very unique. And the teams definitely are wanting that content to share on their social accounts, which is awesome. We had like the Bills they made up a whole story narrative of the competition with the corgis, and it was amazing. So that storytelling through our content is very important, and we do as best as we can to capture all of that and hand it to the corgi owners, and then they have their own social media accounts, so then they create their own content, and it's a fun day after the races to see all of the experiences and different perspectives and angles and stories that people capture through their content.
Ziggy the videographer.
Yes, she's always there. She loves to either add a little drama to the race or is just there for the vibes and the people, and she understands the assignment when she's, like, capturing the content. So, she's never, like, won a major race, and she just likes to have a fun time, is there for the chase
Yep.
and the good vibes.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Good job, Ziggy. So you were talking about we're doing the NFL teams. You said there's 9 teams that you've worked with. There are 5 others in the NFL, but it sounds like even more expansion through different kind of sports. And you touched on that a little earlier.
Yeah, we were able to get to a college football game, which we have goals to reach that space in 2025. I think we had to navigate with every sport and every different area event, it's very differently of how the flow goes. So it's important for us to kind of get a case study of what a corgi race could look like and how that could be successful moving forward when we pitch corgi races to other teams and leagues. And so college football, navigating the marching band, so splitting up that time. We did college basketball, trying to navigate the basketball court. So we always are wanting to prioritize safety for the dogs. And we knew that boots or shoes, because if you look at the Frisbee and the trick dogs that do half times at basketball, they all have boots on. And we all know, or I'm sure majority of us know, that boots and shoes on corgis is typically just a mess. It's just the way that they're where they bend in their foot
Yeah.
usually will flick off the boot. And
Right.
so we've actually figured out, for us, that's worked really best are like those like rubber balloons
Mhm.
shoes from Paws, and we
Mhm.
put those on the corgis and they stay on pretty great. So figuring out little things like that with basketball. We did a professional women's soccer game in the summer, and the field layout is different for that. So just kind of figuring out positioning. And then in a couple weeks, we're going to be at our first men's indoor lacrosse game. So again, just figuring out the race path of that, and we're just excited to expand and bring corgi races wherever we can for teams and in different areas, different states, different regions of the country. And again, our main goal is just providing experiences not only for the corgis and the handlers, but the event experience for fans across all these teams.
Heck yes, we're here for it. 100%.
Yeah, and then you just create new, even though there's tons of fans out there of corgis, but we spread in the joy of the corgi obsession.
Yeah, we're sharing our love with the rest of them. So I have a question about your selection process, because I imagine, as you grow, there's a lot of interest. And I know with the nationals that you were talking about earlier, they have to do a sort of a lotto process because there's just so much interest. And when it started, it wasn't as popular. You could sign up, you could make the list. Can you tell us about Little Stumps process?
Yeah, very similar. When we put out our applications, we get tons of interest. So let me kind of take a couple steps back. When we get
Mhm.
approached to bring a corgi race, we'll lock in the date and how many corgis are wanted for that team. Like I said, every team event is different, and so we try to kind of fit to what their needs and what they can handle with their staff. So that ranges from, we've had anywhere from 6 to 12 corgis, and it's usually either 6, 8, 10, or 12 corgis in the race. So once we have all that figured out, we create an application and we send that out to our following on social media. For 2025, we're going to have a newsletter. So head to our website, sign up for the Little Stumps Speedster, and that will also be a way for folks to get updates and announcements of upcoming races. And then from that point, when we collect all the applications, and yes, when the applications are closed, there are hundreds of corgis. Our most one was over 400 corgis had applied for 8 corgi racing spots.
Wow.
So you can imagine that it's very competitive, and it's one of the worst things I have to do is send out that email to the people letting them know that they weren't selected. I wish we could have all the corgis, and that's a priority of ours moving forward, is having opportunities for new racers to experience this. We always bring back our winners because the teams want to see the winner return.
Sure.
But then we want to open it up for new racers to experience the event itself. But from there, it's kind of a combination of things, and it's not all the same, and we're working on finding the best process and the fairest with the application process. But we also do work with the teams if they have special requests. Sometimes they work with staff, like staff that have corgis or their own internal connections, so we bring on racers through there.
Mhm.
And then for us, what we love is showing the breed of corgi from all ranges. So we have all the different colors, the different sizes, the ones with tails, no tails, the cardigan corgis, the
Mhm.
fluffies. So we want to have kind of that mixed variety of corgi racers represented on the field. And
Sure.
then another huge thing that we get requests from teams themselves is that they want to have as much exposure as possible with these corgi races. So if your corgi has a social media, that always plays a huge factor into selecting these racers from the requested teams to really lean into that storytelling and content capturing of the event.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's amazing to see the interest and the support and the enthusiasm that these corgi owners have to be part of these races. And every day we get messages asking how they can get involved, when the next corgi race is, and so we just tell them, keep following our social media accounts. We post all our announcements and applications there, and then with our newsletter, we'll get that up and going and get updates to folks, and they can have the inside scoop of when races are coming up and applications are opening.
Yeah. Oh, cute. Okay, so let's talk about I want to know like how to prepare. So let's say Chuckles has done some racing before, but it either corgis that haven't raced before or new to it. I mean, ideally you want to do some training beforehand, but maybe you get picked and you don't have time to do all the training you'd like to do. Love to hear some tips and tricks. What makes a great a race day? What you advise everyone ahead of time? I would say for starters, don't get offended if you don't make the heat, right? Because of what you just explained. That doesn't mean that your corgi is any less important or any less quick. There's only so many spots you can fill, right?
Yeah, I always emphasize, every event race we're at, I tell everyone, expect the unexpected. You could train for this, you could prepare as much as you want. I tell them we could have 10 back to back races and they will all look very different. And then you have all the different factors, especially the races we do where you have loud noises, fans. Unfortunately, sometimes fireworks go off,
Mm-hmm.
bands are around. There's just mascots freak dogs out. There's just so many different things outside of the environment you can't control or unexpectedly happen.
A lot of
So
stimulation.
a lot of stimulation, and
Yeah.
again, that's another huge part of our criteria is having dogs that have that exposure to outside of their house. They need
Mm-hmm.
to have exposure to the world and other dogs and be interactive. And
Be
we're
well
not expecting
socialized. Yeah.
socialized. Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
expecting dogs to be perfect or not afraid. We know that's going to happen, and we've learned from that and built in tactics to help prevent freak out moments. But anyways, I always start with kind of that messaging of expect the unexpected. This is for fun, and it's don't take it too serious because you don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
But when I do advise racing tips, if your dog enjoys a toy or a treat, people will practice their releaser and then their catcher at kind of like a 40-yard distance is our standard distance. So 40 yards, having your dog sprint. If you want to add more to it, add other dogs running with them because again, you put them dogs next to each other, they want to play, they want to race, they want to interact with each other as well. So
Spidey FaceTime. Yeah.
yeah, throw in some distractions there. I think the racers that do really well are the ones that are so obsessed of a toy, or they're absolutely like trained on obedience and recall,
Mm-hmm.
or they have a little bit of separation anxiety from their owner. Those are kind of the three
Yep.
top dogs I see as like finishers. So, and again, every dog is different, so you're not expecting that you fall into that character. Majority of the ones are you never know what's going to happen. You just let go and see how they do. Do they find a corgi and chase it? Do they run halfway and turn around, or do they completely freeze and look at you and don't know what to do? And we've
Oh.
we've had plenty of those moments. And in those times, I'll tell the releasers, once it's obvious the dog isn't running, like maybe run with them down the field or kind of corral them down to the finish line. We've had plenty of times where corgis just play at the starting and they never make it to the finish line. So it's again, it's not like you're setting up training for the event in a serious matter. It's just a fun experience. Get your dog active, interactive, in an environment new and a fun space.
Yeah. Rule number one, have a good time, right?
Always, always.
Yeah. Super cute. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I want to talk I want you to tell everyone who might be listening how they can follow you, how they can get involved. I know there's a newsletter. I will share in the description box how we can follow you on the socials for Ziggy's and Little Stumps Racing. But for those listening, please explain how they can follow you and where to find you.
Yeah, find us at LittleStumpsRacing across our social accounts, Instagram, TikTok. We're on Facebook, Twitter, X, all of that. We have our website as well, littlestumpsracing.com. And then on the website, you can sign up for our Little Stumps Speedster newsletter. So that would be the space. Also, we have a forum on our website that you can sign up on our master list. So this just, if you have interest in racing your corgi, you fill out this information and it helps us if a corgi race is happening local in your area, we'll reach out and let you know about the application.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for taking your time today to kind of explain to us the process and how you got started. I mean, we're so excited to be, part of it and see what happens next.
Yeah, we've got big dreams for 2025 and wanting to just bring more fun events like this across the country and build this community of Little Stumps racers.
Heck yes. Well, Jess, thank you so much. We're going to let you get back to your evening. But like I said, if you want to follow, please look at littlestumpsracing.com. Look at that website as well as follow on the socials that Jess mentioned. Jess, please give Ziggy some belly rubs for us and some schmackos.
I will definitely, and you as well with all your pups.
Thank you. Yeah, all of mine, my whole rowdy of corgis over here. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, Jess.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please follow Little Stumps Racing. And I would encourage you, if you think your corgi can race, sign up. Maybe they'll make that heat. But we're certainly excited. We're here for it. We want to see what happens next. And I just can't wait to see where Little Stumps goes. But otherwise, please like, subscribe, join us. We're here for you every week. All things corgi and pet parent lifestyle. I'm Candy, and my lap is Chuckles, our spokescorg. And as always, Mortimer Barnabas, Tito Bandito, and Booger, our little senior lady. See you next week.